Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. This is Jeremiah Demray, founder of Advisors. Welcome to today's virtual advisor power hour. I'm betting that a lot of you had a long weekend, especially all of those in the United States. So tell me, guys, what was amazing about your weekend? Let me know where you're dialing in from, where you're watching, streaming from, and let me know what was great about your weekend. I'll give you a little update on mine, and then we'll dive right into it. So just drop your comments in the Q&A right now. Let me know what was great about your weekend. And just a quick update. You may have noticed by the audio quality today, I am not in my regular studio. Actually, we're here on a Force for Good initiative in another part of the world, which I will have more details on later. But two things may happen today. Actually, two things. One thing might happen, one thing guaranteed will happen. Thing number one, you're going to learn a lot because we've got an amazing session that's been planned today. We've got Sky Richardson from our team here to talk about a way you can read people's minds when you create content. Some really cool stuff. Thing number two that might happen, my internet might actually die today. Okay, because I've been going around this place where I am right now trying to find the best internet, and it's not the most advanced place where I'm at. Hence, the Force for Good initiative. So just keep that in mind. If I drop off, Sky, my man, has really solid internet broadband. He's going to be taking over. So just to let you guys know. So what was great about your weekend, guys? All right. So let's see. Jim checked in. He says, I got together with my family. I enjoyed the time just like the old days. Good to hear that, Jim. James loved seeing his kids, had a great time. Vikram's checking in from Boston. Don says, our son and his family came in, and we ended up in the emergency room with my son having a broken ankle. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that, Don. He says it will be memorable. Yeah, no doubt. Tony went to a state park and wilderness area hiking, went to 8 different parks in Washington. One of my all-time favorite activities is to go hiking. Love that. Let's see. We've got Jeffrey went to the Indy 500. Wow, very cool. And Kevin visited his cousin in Cape Cod. There's tons of of you guys coming in yet. I don't have time to read all of them, but really excited to have you guys here. We got an amazing, amazing session lined up for you guys today. Let me go ahead and bring up my deck right now. And we're going to kind of talk about what we're going to be jumping into today. All right, give me a second because I don't normally have all my screens today. So that means I've got to kind of toggle back and forth. And you guys should be able to now see. Yes. All right. Give me a yes in the Q&A if you can see that screen right now. You should see Virtual Advisor Power Hour, where advisors thrive. Give me a yes in the Q&A if you can see that. Awesome. Okay, good. Appreciate that, guys. So we're going to start off the day today with the mental hack. This is something that you can use when you're on Zoom meetings or even meeting people in person to kind of read and understand where they're coming from. I'm going to give you a tip for personalized messages, which our advanced clients have actually started using with more and more frequency to get better quality meetings and cement the follow-up and convert the follow-up into a sale. We've got a really, really cool update on the Force for Good initiative. And I'm going to bring up our resident copywriting wizard, Sky Richardson, to talk about the Stealthy QRA advisor strategy. If you've ever been stuck trying to figure out, what do I write? What should I put in my email? I want to post something. I want to create a video. I want to create my next YouTube video, and you don't know what to do. This will be the key to not only unlocking an endless supply of ideas for you, but also giving you the ideas that match exactly what people are thinking. So how great is that? Being able to create content that matches what your ideal prospects are thinking about. It's kind of like getting into their deepest, darkest secrets and then giving them exactly what they want to know. I know you guys will love this hack. It's a very advanced class today, so I think you'll really, really appreciate it. So let's kick it off with the mental hack. As I was preparing this today, I was trying to think what would be the best kind of mental hack I could teach you when you're in a sales situation with a prospect, whether for insurance or financial services. I've been a student of psychology, neuroscience for years. So naturally, this could be its own course. But if there was one thing that I would teach you, that could make a difference today that you could execute right away, it would probably be the way that you start a conversation with somebody. Now, some of you may recall a question that I shared with you some time ago on a previous Power Hour on what you can say to somebody to know whether they're pain motivated or pleasure motivated. So I'm going to bring this back, but also layer in a little something extra. So how do you know if somebody is pain motivated or pleasure motivated? This is a very powerful thing to know because throughout your presentation, you can tailor what you're going to share and focus on the pain of missing out or the pain of not taking action, or you can focus on the pleasure of taking action. If you don't do this right, what could happen is that you start talking about all the great benefits of this product or this rider or your strategy or your bucket strategy or whatever it is you use, and the person is not feeling you. And you could be doing that for 30, 45 minutes because you're a pleasure-oriented person, right? You always like to move towards what's cool, what's new, what's interesting, what's positive, what's going to change, what's going to move. But if the person is someone who just avoids pain, right? Like these are people like they'll do anything to avoid discomfort. They don't want to get ripped off. They don't want to get taken. And these conversations about money and finance typically bring up bad memories for them, right? They're always in a way to kind of push out what didn't work. So the question for that is very simple. You might want to write this down. What's important to you when working with an advisor? What's important to you when working with an advisor? Now, the way that person answered the question will tell you which part of the population they are. 20% of the world's population, 40% is pain motivated, 40% is pleasure motivated, and 20% can be swayed either way. So this is a pretty significant question to have as part of your sales presentation so that you get a deep understanding into where they're at. So if somebody says, let's do a quiz, right? If somebody says, what's really important to me is that I have a great retirement, that I can take a trip around the world. I want to take 5 weeks of vacation. I don't want to care how much it costs. Is that pain or pleasure, folks? Shift Nation in the Q&A, let me know. Is that pain or pleasure motivated person? Let me know, Shift Nation in the Q&A. Do you guys get that? Yeah, very good. Excellent, good. Carolyn, Chris, Jerry, Charles, James. Absolutely, that's a pleasure motivated person, right? Very good, guys. You guys are catching on. I love this. Okay, now what if somebody says, well, I just don't want to be, I want to make sure that they're going to tell me what's going on when, markets shift. And, I just don't want to get caught in something that, when I get to my retirement, I just, I don't want to be running out of money. Or, I've really worked hard for my house. I want to make sure my house is protected. I love my grandkids and I just don't want to leave them without anything. What is that? Pain or pleasure? Yeah, very good. You guys got that. Good. Deborah, Makaran, Jerry, Vikram. Yeah, pain avoidance, right? So actually, one of you just asked a really good question. What if, like John says, what if each spouse looks at things differently? Well, that's good information for you to know, right? So instead of just taking the lead with the man and asking him, you want to ask the man and the woman, right? You want to ask the husband and wife the same questions. The best advisors always bring everybody into the conversation. So that would be the first thing. Now, the second thing I would layer on top of that is body language, right? Body language. And I'm going to specifically give you a tip for your body language. And this is something that I've been training an elite sales team here for quite a while. And one thing I observed is that many times especially if you're dealing with somebody that you might be intimidating to you, has it ever happened that, you're meeting with somebody and they make more money than you do, and you're supposed to be the money advisor? And you might have a little bit of this imposter syndrome going on, right? Oh man, this person makes like, 500 grand a year and I'm only at a 125 and I'm supposed to be giving them advice. Sometimes that imposter syndrome can kick in, or you have you have some intimidation or some unresolved insecurities. Hey, we all got them. Okay, we all got them. Doesn't mean you're bad or anything. It's just you have to acknowledge that they're there. So what you can do a body language hack for yourself is if you're doing a Zoom meeting and you have the person's screen really big, like, like bam, you might have my picture right now really big. I don't know on your device. What you want to do is you want to make it smaller. And there's just a little toggle you can touch in Zoom or GoToWebinar or whatever tool you're using that will allow you to kind of change it so that the person is smaller. So they're just kind of small. What you may want to do is you have your notes here on one side and you have the person's face is no bigger than this on the screen. What that does in your mind is sends a signal that, this person's importance or impact on you is small. You see how powerful that can be? Because when you make it really big, sometimes it can be very intimidating, especially, have you ever had somebody show up to a Zoom like this? Hey, what's going on? Yeah, where they're kind of like they're doing the nose thing at you, right? Like they're kind of staring down at you like this. Like, yeah, I got about, 2 million, I can move over, like that kind of thing. Like just that is like a Zoom intimidation power move, right? So when you make the screen smaller, it actually kind of gives you a little bit of breathing room. That's what we've noticed in training high-performing sales teams is that they use these little hacks like this in order to give themselves the advantage. And what that does is kind of quiets the mind away from the, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, this person makes more money, and that kind of thing. All right. You guys like that? Was that useful to you? Let me know, Shift Nation, in the Q&A if that was a useful hack and if you plan on using it today even or in your next meeting coming up this week. All right, I'm going to bring up my deck here again. I wanted to share another quick tip. So this was really cool. This was shared with us by one of our team members, Brianna. And if you guys are not in the Facebook group, make sure that you guys are going there. And Jasmine on my team right now is going to drop a link into the chat to give you a link directly to this post. We use a tool internally to help our clients accelerate their success, and it's Loom. There's a quick little tutorial that we've posted into the Facebook group. I think you guys will really, really like it. So Jazz, if you can go ahead and post that into the chat right now, click on that link. If you're not part of the Facebook group, go ahead and join it. And I think it'll be really, really helpful. All right, I want to give a big shout out to Dennis O'Keefe, who took our Thursday challenge last week. So we have challenges going on in the Facebook group. We have tips we're dropping. We have lots of guides and videos and tutorials to help you all. And Dennis is a real action taker. So I put a challenge out there last week. We gave everybody some advice on how to follow up with people, right? The importance of follow-up, email follow-ups. We look at those statistics that 80% of sales happen on the 12th follow-up. So what we did is we issued a challenge to Shift Nation inside the group and saying, hey, take one of the techniques we've shared in the last 5 weeks and follow up with somebody that is on your follow-up list. And this says, I used one of my follow-ups. So he says, one of my follow-ups used your trick yesterday. Turns out the guy's COVID. Thank me for checking in. He's looking forward to getting together. So congratulations to you, Dennis, for taking action. Lucinda as well. We got a whole bunch of other people who took action there. So congratulations to you guys for playing full out. Now it comes to one of my favorite times of the Power Hour. This is the wins of the week. So this is where we get to celebrate and encourage each other with the win that has happened in your business or in your personal life in the last 7 days. So since the last Power Hour, what are the wins that have happened in your life? And remember, if it's a business win, we want to hear about the numbers because specificity converts, right? So we're tracking this, how much Shift Nation is earning by executing on all these techniques. So let us know what the AUM amount was. Let us know what the, if it was a commission that you did, how many policies it was. And if you use a tactic from the Power, go ahead in the Q&A right now and post your win of the week. Now, I'm going to tell you about mine as you guys start typing in. I'm going to tell you about my win of the week, which has to do with a moment that I observed and has to do with being a part of the Force for Good movement. So for those of you that are new, you know that one of my personal missions and that of advisors, our number one value is to be a force for good in the world and the industry. And I recently gave you an update on how we're collecting different machinery that we are going to bring to a third world country that's been deeply affected by COVID and poverty. And we're going to teach individuals how to start businesses such as a small juice business, a small gluten-free baking business, a coffee grinding business. In these little communities, just having a machine like that can be the key to providing to your family. But this week, I witnessed something absolutely beautiful I wanted to share with you guys. Now, it has to do with this picture on the right-hand side. So I don't know if any of you have been following what's been happening in the country of Venezuela for some time. Well, due to the greed at the highest levels, it's a country with one of the richest natural resources, the most in diamonds and petrol, has more petrol than the Middle East. Natural resources, just such an abundance. 10 years ago, everybody was going to Venezuela to work because they were just hiring everybody. Well, due to greed and corruption, the hyperinflation that has happened has caused an increase in poverty. People with degrees, like engineers, professors, and so forth, are out of work. There's lots of violence in the street, and it has caused a mass emigration outside of Venezuela to surrounding South American countries. Now, 15 months ago, this man you see here on your right, who's an engineer out of Venezuela, had to flee with his family and ended up in a small town. The man on the left here owns a property in that town. And instead of having, and so they ended up meeting as part of our Force for Good initiative and some of the volunteer work that we do, all over the world. They ended up meeting. And what this man on the left did is he, instead of, giving him a place to rent and having him pay money because he really had nothing, he came up with such like a very kind arrangement. He let him and his family stay in his 3-bedroom home for free without paying a dime of rent. And the only thing that he had to do is, because if you look down here in the background, this home is built near a river that grows a certain type of herb that helps this man with a certain health condition he has. And so here's the deal he made. He said, look, once a week, can you bring some of those herbs to my home, and I'll make the tea that I need with it for my health, and you guys can stay here rent free. Isn't that amazing to see kindness like that? And it gets even better, because what I saw happen was even more amazing. So now this family's moving on to another apartment. And in order to give this man his dignity, he said, how about I hire you to make the repairs on the home? Might even see some of the little cracks here. You see that? There's some cracks and paint and stuff that needs to do. But he's helping him as an architect and an engineer to gain his dignity, earn a chance to earn his income and repair the home that he took really good care of. I saw that in action. I was like, wow, that is so impressive to see that. So I know you guys are out there doing amazing things as well. I want to go back to my screen here and kind of give you guys some of a shout out. We got Pamela Sam's, always out there doing such an amazing job, and one of our core conversation starters in the Facebook group, an amazing, amazing woman. If you haven't seen her story, go to our YouTube channel and watch her story, how she graduated from our shift program and is now seeing 7 to 10 appointments a week, like clockwork, just like that. It's no surprise to me, Pam, the last 7 days, you got 4 new clients. Congratulations. RJ said, I made my first sale outside of LinkedIn. Congratulations, RJ. That's amazing. James, I started an educator rollover, and I'm working on life insurance for his family. Beautiful. Michael, I met with and received a verbal commitment from a prospective client who was $1 million of investable assets, strategy, and comp TBD. Nice work, Michael. Appreciate you guys. It's a little different when I don't have my hype form, right? Awesome. Let's see. Sue, I met a new person who was moving into my office, a family therapist. She wants to refer some of her clients for financial advice and divorce financial planning. Nice work, Sue. Got a power partnership. She says a lot of her clients need my help. Yeah, with money being one of the #1 causes of stress, I can only imagine how many people go to therapy because of money issues. That's why I love you guys, Shift Nation, because you may not realize the impact you have on somebody's life to be able to remove that burden of stress, because now they understand how to handle their money, protect their assets. You guys are doing such an amazing, amazing job. Let's see. Harpreet, I received the New Advisor of the Year award across Canada from my network for 2020. There was a full-on virtual ceremony with bands, presentations, champagne sent to my home, and the best, a surprise video by my wife, kids, and parents played across the network. Wow, that's amazing, Harpreet. So Harpreet is somebody who's also going through our shift program right now, and we couldn't be more proud of you, Harpreet. That's excellent. Keep up the great work, guy. So, all right, guys, thank you for all the great stories coming in. Mary, I'll just do this last one, Mary. A client was introduced to me a year ago and gave me a small piece of her business to test drive our relationship before deciding whether or not to leave her firm. I just completed her annual review today on 150,000, and I offered to review the other advisor's work. She agreed to allow me to compete for 880,000 since I pointed out 3 areas of improvement. Next appointment in 2 weeks. Wow. Good job, Mary. I love how you offered a chance to compete. That's a really nice sales technique, and really appreciate you for that. Nice job, guys. Really, really proud of all of you guys out there in Shift Nation. Okay, so a couple of things coming up this week that I want to make sure you guys know about. Then we're going to dive into our class today. So as you know, Advisors Max, this is the elevated membership of Advisors. Okay, some of you have been with me since I started. I'm so grateful for you guys. And as a good steward of our relationship, your price will never go up. So those of you that got in at $67, $97, $127 a month, now we're at $197 a month. All of you who came in before, your price will never go up. What I do want to make a special offer is for all of you today who've been considering joining or coming back to Advisors Max. Now, what is Advisors Max? Advisors Max is slated to become the industry's #1 coaching and training platform for insurance and financial advisors. And here's why I say that. Inside the membership library, you have instant access to $40,000 worth of videos, scripts, templates, PDF guides, walkthroughs, email booklets, everything you need in order to fill your pipeline and close it. Now, starting next week, just that in itself is worth the price of admission of $197 a month. But layering on top of that, we're not satisfied with just being the best online library. We are layering personalized help with amazing coaches that are going to be there with you guys. Now, you guys have met all the coaches, except for today. We're going to introduce you to our 5th coach, who will be one of your coaches every day of the week. So Mondays at 12, we're going to bring on, in an intimate Zoom environment exclusively for Max members, Eve Duke, who is our own organizational psychologist here at Advisors, to get your Mondays and your week started with mindset and personal growth. That will be a 1-hour session where she's going to do some teaching and then help you guys have personal breakthroughs right there in an intimate group. Tuesdays is going to be all about sales techniques, psychology, and scripts with Lloyd Lofton. Lloyd has trained some of the biggest and best sales teams across FMOs, carriers, IMOs, all over North America. And we are really excited that he's part of our team here at Advisors Max. So you're going to get training on rebuttals, on challenges. If you want to bring a call on and you want Lloyd to coach you on it, he's going to do that and help you have that breakthrough. And he's got so many resources to help you guys. That's Tuesdays at 1. Wednesdays, of course, you're going to have the Power Hour, which is always free. But in addition to that, you're going to get the transcripts, the recordings from all the past 48 Power Hours that we've done every single week, as well as the Cliff Notes. So if you just want to go back and get a pointed piece of nugget and pull out, it's all neatly organized. Thursdays are at 12 are all going to be about conversion and copywriting and communication with Sky Richardson, who's going to be teaching our class today. And then Fridays is about building and scaling a virtual practice with Chris and Brianna. Chris himself, at the age of 32 with 4 kids, 5x'd his practice in 9 months using virtual meeting techniques. Brianna on our team has helped hundreds of advisors optimize their profiles, optimize their online presence, and optimize their sales strategies using virtual techniques. And they're going to be showing up every Friday to help you guys as well. No other program in the industry does this for this insanely low rate. So if $200 a month is worth investing in yourself, Jasmine is going to put the link in the Q&A for you guys to click on right now, because we're going to increase the price to $500 a month. I want to say a special welcome to all of you who took advantage when I dropped that dime on you guys 2 weeks ago. A bunch of you came in, so congratulations. If you're on the fence, don't wait any longer, because the price will go up. And if you decide you want to join us later, that's fine, but you're going to be coming in at the full $500 price, which is still a breakthrough price considering all the coaching you're going to get. And that's going to be every single week. So you can choose a track you want to join. You can choose a strategy you want to work on and say, hey, this month, I'm going to work on my sales. And you just show up Tuesdays with Lloyd. The month after that, I'm going to work on my mindset. Or you can join us every single day. All the recordings will be in the members area. the handouts, everything. This is going to be amazing, guys. This is truly the masterclass for insurance and financial advisors, and we want to welcome all you guys. So all you got to do right now is click on the link that Jasmine just joined. It says secure.advisors.com. It's going to kick you over to a link that looks like this. And all you got to do, we got some cool bonuses we're going to drop in there for you guys, being part of Shift Nation as part of the Virtual Advisor Power Hour. So go ahead and check that out, guys. All right. So let me hop into another big thing that's going on right now. Let me make this a little bigger for you guys. Awesome. So tomorrow, mark your calendars because we're inviting our resident exclusive crypto expert, Jeff Neighbors with Coin Capital. He's one of the founders of one of the very first crypto hedge funds that he started back in 2017. He's an RIA himself, and we're going to be talking about what's going on in the crypto world today. So you've probably seen Bitcoin go from 60-some thousand down to 30,000. So what should you make of all those huge up and down single-day swings as of late? Should you be concerned at how much influence Elon Musk has on the price of Bitcoin? And why are former crypto critics finally jumping on board? And what's really happened in the last 6 months other than price momentum? The other thing, big thing in the news that happened, billionaire Carl Icahn says he may get into crypto in a big way. So what does that mean for you? I know for me, it means Bitcoin is on sale right now and crypto's on sale because people are still trying to figure it out. So if you love to understand opportunity and learn how to take advantage, join us tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Jasmine will put the link in the chat. You guys can just click on that, register for it. And tomorrow, Jeff will take your questions as well. All right. So as part of our vision here at Advisorist, our goal is to help 10,000 advisors double their business and take 100 days off a year. And we do these virtual advisor power hours every single week for free. So if you're new here and you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We want you to come back and please apply what you learn so that you can succeed at the level that our clients do. Let's jump into the class today, guys. So today's class, I'm going to be co-hosting it with my main man, Sky Richardson. I can't say enough great things about my buddy Sky. He's been with us for over a year now here at Advisorist, and he has just proven himself to be a student of the game and someone who is one of the most, reliable and thoughtful and amazing copywriters I've had the privilege of working with. And Sky today is going to share the Stealthy QRA advisor strategy for generating laser-focused content ideas. So Sky, why don't we bring you up? Why don't you, buddy, and I want to have you explain what have you been doing to be a force for good? Because I know, that's one thing I want you guys to know about our whole team. This is not just a Jeremiah thing, although, as the founder, I'm really privileged to be surrounded by such amazing people. These are people who are already amazing who are joining our team, and Sky's no different. Sky, tell us a little bit, what have you been doing to be a force for good in the world? Because I love this story behind this.
Yeah. Hey guys, how we doing? So that is, you're looking at this little motley crew of dudes you're looking at here are some guys that I've been mentoring for the past, I guess, they were in 7th grade when I started mentoring them at our church and kind of just giving them some spiritual guidance and mentorship and just kind of being a steady presence in their lives. And they're now just finishing up. Actually, last Sunday, we just wrapped up their 11th grade year, and they're about to go into their senior year of high school. So we're helping to launch them into the world, hopefully with a little stronger start than they might have otherwise. But just so I'm these pictures here. We go on retreats sometimes. You see kind of go-karting over there and playing a little basketball and just trying to connect with them and just build credibility, for the opportunity to help them kind of mature into young men.
Thank you, Sky. I had 3 guys who were like that to me growing up: Francis, Joel, and Kevin. And those 3 guys, over the course of different parts of my youth as a teenager, made such an impact. I have amazing parents, right? So I'm super grateful that I have a present mother and father who love me, who love my brother. They took care of us. But those 3 guys changed my life. And I always appreciate when I see other guys out there being a force for good for younger men coming up, because we really need those kind of men to show up in a positive and an encouraging way for the next generation. So thank you for all you do, Sky. with that said, buddy, I know you got some nuggets prepared, so I'm going to turn off my screen. Let's turn it over to you, buddy. And you know what? The internet's working pretty good today, right? So I think thank you, Shift Nation, for sending good vibes to keep my internet up. I was kind of worried. Yesterday, I did a session and, the sound was going off, but everything's going good. So thank you guys for sending those good vibes.
Let's see here.
Okay. Yep. All right. We can see it. If you want to make it big, then I think we'll be able to dive right in there, Sky.
See if that, let me see here. It's lagging real quick. I think it's coming. My internet's supposed to be the good one. Let's see.
It always happens like that, right?
That's right.
Maybe
that's
I
right.
shouldn't even said anything. I shouldn't have even said anything.
Yours was going so well. Right before there we go. Right before you came up, I heard a little bit of a lag, and I was up. He's about to go. He's about to leave me. But no, today.
Awesome. All right.
I'm really excited to talk about ideas, because ideas is really at the heart of copywriting, right? You can have all these techniques and copywriting skills, but if you don't have an idea, if you don't have an idea that connects with your target audience, then it really doesn't matter a whole lot. So today we want to talk about sourcing ideas and figuring out how do we find ideas that resonate with your target audience. And so we're going to talk about the Stealthy QRA strategy. This is one that I love, and it's basically all about generating laser focused content ideas that not only shows you what people are thinking, but it can also, if you use it correctly, drive traffic back to your website, to your blog, wherever you want, to a landing page. Then we're going to go through how to get thousands of content ideas in one click for any niche. And then we're going to do tips for finding, tracking, and using what I call Google breadcrumbs to come up with niche content ideas. So let's get started here. So this first one, how many of you are familiar with Quora? It's a pretty popular website, and Google actually loves Quora. If you run a search, you'll see a lot of Quora results pop up in the Google search results. And it's actually, most financial advisors don't realize this is a really good way to get into the mind of your prospects and see what they're thinking. And I'm going to walk you through kind of a strategy here, how you can use this. But first, what is Quora? It's basically just a place where people go to ask questions. They can go to ask questions about, there's any kind of category. There's relationships, there's hobbies, there's just random categories, but there's also a lot of people going there looking for answers on finance and money, and what do I do with my money? And anyone can go and share an answer and provide an answer to that question. And it works on kind of, if you're familiar with Reddit or some other sites, it works on an upvote system to where the best answers can get voted up by the community and naturally rise to the top. So there's two ways to kind of use Quora. And one of them is I would just call it a pulse check, which is kind of what I want to talk about today, is where you can go and actually find out what people are thinking so that you never have to come up with content ideas on your own. You can actually just see what they're asking and then fill the void. And I'll, rather than just kind of read through this slide, I'll actually just go ahead and show you kind of what this looks like here. And let me make this big here. So we're actually going to go into Quora. And we're going to run a search, and I'd be curious what type in the question Q&A box what category you would like me to search for. It could be retirement planning, it could be 401k, it could be infinite banking, whole life insurance, any kind of deal there, and we will run a search here. Internet, if the internet wants to work for me here. Okay, I'm seeing.
Sky, do you want me to riff off some of these terms that are coming in to help you out?
Let me know if you see one there that catches your eye, Jeremiah, and we can kind of run with it.
Yeah, and by the way, if you wouldn't mind, in the top right-hand corner where you have those three dots beside your face there on the browser, could you perhaps increase could you zoom in a little bit? And I think it'll be easier for the folks to see. Okay, awesome. So while you do that, boy, great suggestions coming in, guys. So who do we got? Ken, Terry, Carlton, these are all really good. There's one that I think keeps coming up a lot, and that's long-term care.
Long-term
so
care.
Why don't we try that? Let's try long-term care.
Let's do that.
Ralph asked about that. John, let's see. Yeah, long-term care.
Okay. So let's run a search for that. And sometimes you'll see stuff pop up. I mean, you're familiar with Google and all that, and you'll see suggested. Let's just go ahead and run a normal search here for long-term care, because what you'll find in the QRA network is they have what are called topics and they have groups, and they do a really good job of grouping content ideas together and helping you kind of see what people are thinking. So what I like to do is I like to go over here to topics, because what topics is going to do is it's going to give us there might actually be some groups that are based on long-term care insurance, and there might actually be in there. And so let's see yeah, there's one right here. This top one, long-term care, looks like it has 556 followers. This one has 1,000, but that's kind of a very specific category. I say we click on this top one up here, long-term. Well, actually, it's following it, but let me go to the page.
I think the Canadians will be happy to see those 500 people inside that Ontario Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care.
That's right.
So does this work in Canada? We always get the question, does this work in Canada? The answer is yes, absolutely.
Absolutely does. So we'll go in here and we will go, I like to go to this little tab here that says answer. You can do read or answer, but I find that answer, they set that up to where it's actually based on questions that maybe don't have a ton of answers out there already. So it's an opportunity for you to come in here and actually answer the question too. But this is basically a group that people can come to and ask questions about long-term care. And you can see some of these questions here. How long does Medicare pay for long-term care? And these are just user-submitted questions. Anyone can ask. Is long-term care insurance a waste of money for people in their 20s and 30s? What do I need to know about long-term care? Sometimes there's very general questions. Sometimes there's very specific ones. And what it'll actually do is it'll show you how many answers here have actually been provided. And kind of the way I like to look at it is the fewer the answers provided is the better. It can go both ways, but if you actually want to answer the question, it provides a better opportunity for visibility, because if nobody's answered it, you come in and you're automatically the number one answer for that question. And anyone who follows that question or looks at it, you're going to pop up as the number one answer on there. So let's go ahead and, Jeremiah, there needs you see that you think are interesting, or we got, what are the 3 basic levels of long-term care? There's one up here. How long does Medicare pay for long-term care? We've got.
So I saw one, there was a little.
Was it further up?
Yeah, there was one that was recently, there's an interesting point, like stop right there. This is not the best question, but I wanted to point out something interesting that QRA does is if you guys look at the one that's at the very bottom, which is the best elder care center in the US now, might not be, precisely what your prospects are thinking about, but look at that little thing that says last followed May 27th.
Yep.
So when it says May 27th and there's no year after that, that means the current year. So somebody in 2021 on May the 27th said, hey, I'm going to follow this because I want to know what's going on there. So that's just, it's interesting for you to note like how, when was the last time the question was followed? Because it tells you about the recency of it, but don't mistake that for thinking, oh, that's an old question, nobody's interested in it. No, the fact that somebody actually went to QRA, took time out of their day, created an account and posted that question, behind each person is probably 1,000 people who have the same question. And that goes back, Sky, to that main point about this class today is reading people's minds. What you're actually doing here is reading people's minds. So get back to that idea that, Sky, you talked about how do I come up with ideas, right? Well, here's ideas for what to put in your next newsletter. And we're going to talk more about that later, but I want you guys to start putting those connections there. And I want you to write your questions down too, because Sky and I are going to leave a little time today to help you guys out with some Q&A. So I just wanted to point that little thing out, Sky.
Absolutely. And since we're on this page, again, this may not be the best question, but this is still actually a pretty good example here that I want to show you. And I'll just kind of show you here. This right here shows you how many people are following it. So if you see a high number of followers on a question, that actually indicates that a lot of people saw this and they're interested in it. 2 might not seem like a lot here, but you'll find ones that have 10, 15, 50, 100 followers. And that tells you, okay, there's a lot of interest there. But I also want to show you the reason I stayed on this page is because this right here is actually a really good example of someone who came in and provided a really quality answer here. You'll notice that he came in here and he's got paragraphs, he's got little pull-out bullets here, and he's providing a very, I'm not going to sit here and vet the whole thing for what's true and what's not, and they could use some paragraph breaks and all that. But this is a great example of a thorough answer that you can provide. And what I want to do here is I'm scroll down and it'll show you how many views and impressions they actually have. That this one, again, not a very popular question, so there's not a ton of views. But if we go back here and let's find one that's popular based on answers here, this one has 9 answers right here, and we'll load that one up and see what it says. Because what happens a lot of times is even if there's not a lot of followers, the number one answer will get 100, 150, 200 impressions. And that means that your answer is actually, if you just choose to submit an answer, can actually grab a lot of eyeballs, and you can plug a link in there to go wherever you want. But that's a little aside. Really what we want to talk about today is how are we harvesting ideas? And you can just run through here and you can see very quickly all of these questions and what are people asking. And it can help you come up with any number of content ideas, whether it's an ebook, a blog post, a webinar, a podcast episode. And we'll talk about some of that again at the end. So we could spend a whole lot of time on Quora. I've got some other cool ones I want to show you, but I just did want to run that by you. And if you create a profile up here, you can follow boards like this and groups like this, and then you'll get notifications every time a new question comes up. So you can actually have these hand delivered into your inbox every day, a curated digest of what questions people are asking, and use that as your inspiration for creating content ideas. So I hope that was is helpful, and I'll go back in and I've got some other ideas here that we can use. The other one is called Answer the Public, and this one is an interesting tool here, and it basically harvests the Google data and tells you what people are searching in a very digestible, user-friendly format. That it's always got this little funny guy here, and he'll start moving here in a second if my internet cooperates. But you can actually run a search in here, and I'll see if they'll just show me an example here, because for some reason my internet is lagging big here. But here's what it is. So you'll run a search here for, let's say, retirement planning. And what will happen is you'll run the search, and it'll actually show you, based on these words, how, are, which, why, what questions people are asking. And you can actually download an entire CSV report with thousands of questions that people are asking based on your subject of choice. And it's a free tool. And there's my man. There he is. He's pacing back and forth. So let's see. I've already run some. You can see in here, and I'll run this through to just see if we can come up with some ideas based on retirement planning or a general topic like that. And so here you go. Retirement planning. We have 314 results and 42 questions, and you can actually go through here and search based on questions, based on prepositions, based on comparisons, alphabeticals, or related. And let's see here what we've got. These are real questions that people are asking on Google. Let's see, how to start retirement planning. What is the best retirement planning software? When should retirement planning begin? When should you start retirement planning? Why retirement planning is important? Why it's needed. A lot of these are basic here, but you can scroll down and you'll see they organize it. These are based on prepositions. These are based on comparisons, which I always find comparison posts, if you're writing a blog post, are really good because people just naturally like to relate different concepts here. So let's see, retirement planning, stocks versus bonds. And you'll find that some of these questions don't always make a whole lot of sense because people are trying to search for answers and clarity. They might not actually even understand necessarily the topics that they're searching for, but this is where you can come in and fill that gap and provide the knowledge that they're looking for. This one's interesting here. You probably can't see this on your screen here, but it's retirement planning and employee benefits PDF. People are actually searching for a PDF of retirement planning and employee benefits. There's your next lead magnet. Go ahead and create one of those. So it's really just kind of a helpful tool for digging in. And then here are, if you just want to look at it in a list format, it breaks it down alphabetically. But the easiest way to do this is after you've looked at this, come up here and click download CSV, and it'll spit an entire spreadsheet out on your computer, and then, work some magic there and just organize it however you please. So that's another one. It's called Answer the Public, and it's a free tool to use. And I find that it's very powerful. Here is another one, Jeremiah, that I know that you and I have talked about, which is the People Also Ask feature on Google. And you'll see over here, when you run a search, you'll probably notice that they actually give you the questions that people are asking. And let's see here. I think I linked one here. So if I run a search up here for retirement planning, at first it gives you, it'll give you your ads, but then right here, it gives you this section that says People Also Ask. And this is based on people who search retirement planning. These are the questions they're actually asking, and Google is presenting to you based on popularity. So what are the steps in retirement planning? What are the 4 basic steps of retirement planning? What is the best retirement plan? What are 3 types of retirement plans? So you've got these. You've also got over here, retirement planning calculator. That's a good one. People love interactive content. You can actually go to a website like Fiverr and pay for someone to create your retirement planning calculator. And I know there's actually other tools out there that probably allow you to do it for free. There you go. That's a way to draw people in, get people to give you their email address in return for a retirement planning calculator. People are searching retirement planning advice, retirement planning strategies, other things like that. And you'll actually, if you scroll down, you'll get more down here. There you go. Retirement planning worksheet, retirement planning PDF, retirement planning articles. Here you go. People love checklists, retirement planning guide checklist. So, they are literally giving you your next content ideas based on the search that you're conducting.
Yeah, let's stay right there, Sky. There's an entire free, can you go back to that screen? So how do you break this down into practical steps, right? So I just want to show you guys something here. Go up to the top. Let's actually brainstorm like an actual campaign. Okay, so I'm going to grab my annotation tools here. Sky, can you make it bigger? I think that'd be more helpful if people can see it. Just maybe a couple of points bigger would be great. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so scroll down just a little bit. Yeah, okay, right there. People also ask. Yeah, I just want to bring it to people's attention right here. So here's what's interesting, right? What you're starting to notice, and this goes to the premise of our entire philosophy here at Advisorist, is that the way people are shopping and choosing advisors has totally shifted. And Shift Nation, you know this because you've been with me attending the Power Hours, you're active in the Facebook group, you're joining our programs, and we've been indoctrinating you ever since my book Shift was released, many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago now. But I was talking in that book about how people are shifting. And here's a perfect example, okay? Because if you think people are just going to do business with you because you're a referral, think again, okay? Because these people are searching online, they're going to places like Quora, they're watching YouTube videos, and then some random person comes in for the win, steals the deal from you because they did a better job of educating before you did. That's just the reality, and it's only going to get better. I'm saying better because for those that are not prepared, it is going to get worse for you. But those that are prepared and come to these Power Hours and invest in our programs, we're teaching you how to do that. One of our coaches, actually 2 of our coaches, built their entire businesses like that. That's Benjamin Brandt, who now has the #2 most recommended retirement podcast in the world as per iTunes. He just started doing these little things like here, creating podcast episodes based on questions. And then you have Carmen and Darius Britt of the virtual appointment advisor, too many A's in that one, virtual appointment engine, the virtual advisor appointment engine. There you go, VA. They built a YouTube channel that has 90,000 subscribers, and they own the keyword on YouTube, infinite banking. How do they do it? They're doing exactly what I'm showing you here. And every day they're stealing people's clients because they're out there educating first. So do not miss the importance of what we're talking about here, because if you keep putting aside content marketing, that's not for me, I don't need to do that, I don't need to do all that stuff, great, because all of our graduates are going to go grab your clients, and that's just the reality, and Google's telling you that. So don't believe me, believe Google. So here's what's interesting. You're watching the market mature before your eyes, everybody. Look at this. What are the steps in retirement? That is a very new entry question into the market. When you're starting to think about retirement, that is like an awareness question, right? Like, what are the steps to retirement? That's like if you imagine a scale of like 1 to 10, of 10 being ready to hire an advisor or work with an advisor, 1 being, I don't even know I have a problem. That's like a number 1 or number 2 issue, right? Look at this. This is amazing to me, Sky. What are the 4 basic steps of retirement planning? How does somebody even know there are 4? Where did they get the idea there are 4? ARP's not telling them it's 4. The government is not telling them it's 4. Somebody, an advisor, many advisors, somehow, somewhere went out. Maybe it was Fisher, who knows? Someone was marketing, spending $1 million a day on ad spend. They are saying, hey, look, it's 4 steps to retirement, but look at this. What are the 3 steps of retirement? This is the sign of a maturing market that is making decisions and getting insights before they even talk to you. Last week, we talked about the statistic that 57% of people are already halfway down the decision-making path before they even pick up the phone and talk to you. So you can ignore the statistics and keep saying, I'm not going to pay attention to that. Or you pay attention to this. This to me is absolutely fascinating, Sky, because it shows a market maturing before your very eyes. How does somebody know there's 3 steps? Well, they've educated themselves. How do they know it's 4? They've educated themselves. And where did they educate themselves? Some advisor went online, posted a piece of content, and taught them. Amazing. I just wanted to point that out, Sky. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. And this is reading people's minds. This is reading how people are thinking about retirement. This is the meta stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. Sky, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that's perfect. And I like that little nuance that you mentioned, is that, how did they learn that? It's because somebody's already made them aware that there's 4 steps or whatever. That means they've actually been like preheated for you. They've been pre-warmed because they're actually in a situation where they have some understanding, but now they're still pursuing answers. And it gives you an opportunity to come in then and answer their question and move them further along and actually earn their business. And anytime I see a number like this, with 4, that just that screams to me like there's so many content ideas you can do with that. I mean, just people love numbers. Just the brain loves numbers, even, and just coming out with a little lead magnet, little ebook that answers that question that people are already searching for. Bam, you've got a conversation starter, and you're positioning yourself as the expert, the authority in their minds. So I love that. I think that's a great example. And just kind of as I'll just mention this. I think maybe we want to take some questions, Jeremiah. I think that might be good here. But what I did want to mention here is this tool right here. It's actually just people also ask, I believe it's just .com here. This is a tool that does the exact same thing that Google does, except at scale. And you can type in a question kind of the same way, and they'll actually spit out a bunch of categorized answers based on the search you run in, and you can download those as well. So I think that's another one that if you're looking for people also ask, you can go ahead and use that tool as well.
Absolutely. We are getting some amazing feedback, Sky. So guys, what do you think about today's training? Start dropping your thoughts and show Sky some love, because he worked really hard, pulling this together. He's been working on it for over a week. We were brainstorming last week. Hey, what could we do to really help you guys, help Shift Nation today? Just absolutely smash it. Like Ralph is saying, this is freaking incredibly useful. Ali goes, this rocks. Thank you. Super idea for creating content. Jeff says, this is great. Roxanne thinks this is awesome. Really great content creation gold, says Greg. I love it. Great insights. You got 5 hearts from Deanna. Omar says, good info. Never thought of these ideas. Awesome, Sky, says Pam. This is brilliant, says Lorna. What a way to leverage all kinds of resources. John says it's transformative and enlightening. I do like that. Very nice. Million Dollar Secret, says Angela. Beautiful. Amazing as usual, says Florence. A mine of nuggets. Wow, this rocks, says Terry. Awesome. Love to have these comments in. All right, amazingly practical, says Kevin. So Sky, I know you wanted to drop some extra nuggets, and then let's take a few Q&A before we close out today.
Yeah. If you got some questions, go ahead and put them in there. I'll just kind of this final little slide here is just we've mentioned a lot of these before, but I think a lot of people sometimes get stuck with either what is the idea, and hopefully we've touched on that today. You can come up with good ideas, but then what do you do with the idea? And there's so many ways to put content to use. Besides, you don't have to write a 3,000 word blog post to produce content. Like, you don't have to do that. There's so many ways that you can put it to use. And I think LinkedIn, you could do LinkedIn posts. You could do, we've talked about lead magnets. If you want to do a webinar, if you're doing a webinar, why not just create a webinar called, the 4 steps to retirement planning, and boom, you go through those 4 steps, and then have a little call to action at the end. There could be an email campaign where you could send 1 step a day for 4 days or something, and just spread them out like that, and just kind of slowly drip on people. You could write a little mini book. You can pay someone to write a book for you for not a whole lot on a website like Upwork or Fiverr, and put out a little book there, or podcast episodes. So these are just kind of some ideas that you can use to put those ideas to use once you have them. And I recommend just collecting ideas. I've got spreadsheets of ideas, content ideas that I'll just save, so that whenever I need to write something, I just go to it and I've always got an idea there. So I'd recommend just collecting ideas and creating your own little swipe file of ideas, and you'll be ready to roll anytime you need to put out any kind of lead generating content.
Yeah, great stuff. So let's dive into some Q&A. Aldo's asking, is having an avatar still the way to go, or are surveys the way to go? Are we assuming avatars still work for making a tribe to market to? You want to talk about the avatar?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Avatars are still the way to go. I mean, you can't produce meaningful content if you're not speaking to anyone in particular. And so I always like to write to one person in particular, and just kind of picture who that person is, and get as detailed as possible as you can. And you can find a lot of templates if you actually want to get serious about avatars, and just kind of drill down and have fun with it and figure out who they are. What are their hobbies? What's their family life like? What was their upbringing? What are they looking forward to in retirement? What industry are they coming out of? And I think it helps to clarify your content. Jeremiah, you may have thoughts on that as well, but I think it's very, very helpful.
Yeah, always start with the avatar, because that'll help determine your questions, and you can even go deeper with the Q&A you get. Great question, Aldo. Let's move on to Carlton. Would it be a good idea for some of these to take some of these thoughts, I think is what you mean, and make multiple lead magnets to test which is the most popular? Do you want to handle that one? Do you want me to take it?
I think it could be. I think it could be. I think we're always testing here at Advisors. We're testing all kinds of stuff all the time: subject lines and headlines and lead magnets and all that. What I would say though is also I think it's very important to just get to work and just do. There's something to be said for taking action. And if I wouldn't get so bogged down in like, I need to come up with 4 before I can release any, like I would create something and put it out and start doing it. And then if you figure out you want to test something else, put it out there too. But I would say take action as soon as possible. And Jeremiah, you may have another angle or thought on that, but testing is always good.
Yeah, absolutely. Never let perfect be the enemy of done. Right. So just get it out. I think it's a thoughtful question, actually. But if you're just getting started in content marketing, if you get something to 80%, get it out of the door and you'll be faster than everybody else. While, Mr. Smith or Miss Smith over here is obsessing, perfectionizing, overthinking everything. You're over here, you've gotten 3 lead magnets out and you're testing to see which is working. And you're beating them at their own game. So that's my thoughts on that. Next one goes to, so actually we have to go back a step. Sydney and John both ask the same question. What is an avatar? Great question. Thanks for asking that one. So an avatar is, think of making character picture of ideal client. So that's an avatar. So for example, if your ideal client is a 61-year-old male who has $500,000 of assets, has owned a business 10 years, has 3 grandkids, lives in the greater Columbus area, goes to church, appreciates family values, listens to Republican radio, whatever, right? That's an avatar. Like you now know, okay, I can target political groups on my ads or my messaging. I can reference faith-based things on my messaging. I can do this. I can talk about multi-generational wealth. I can talk about owning a business. You see how that's so much better than $500,000 of assets under management. That's my target audience. 55 and over with $500,000 is not an avatar. Okay. You guys who are in our shift program, VAE program, the podcast program, you guys know that, right? That you don't just settle with how much money and what age. That is the weakest avatar that you're ever going to have, and you'll always fail because you're trying to speak to the greatest number when you should be just speaking to the one niche. So hopefully that helps you, John, in Sydney there. Sky, that's all the time we have for today. Any final words that you want to give to Shift Nation here?
Yeah, I would just say that there's a lot of opportunity out there. There's a lot of noise online, as you know, and there's a lot of opportunity for someone who actually knows what they're talking about to provide quality answers. Because you will see, going back to QRA, you'll see a lot of people on there who provide answers and they get a lot of upvotes and visibility. And honestly, their answers are not even worthwhile. And so if you can come in there and you actually know what you're talking about and can provide value, you can actually rise above as the authority figure in your niche. And so I would just say, don't be too intimidated to put out content. You can see on the screen now, there's so many ways you can use it. So don't feel like you have to go a certain direction. There is opportunity for you, whether you want to create short form content, long form content, whether you're doing retirement planning or you're doing infinite banking or whatever it is. People need to hear your voice in this noisy world. And I would just say, go for it. Like Jeremiah said, if it's 80% done, just do it and see what happens. You're not going to die, and you're going to learn a couple things along the way. So hopefully this has been helpful just to kind of give you that jump start that you need and encouragement to start producing content.
Amazing stuff, Sky. Thank you so much. That was really, really helpful. And by the way, if you like that kind of training, this is what you're going to get with Advisors Max. So Sky, what's your day and what are you going to be covering for our Advisors Max members starting next Friday? Tell us a little bit about what the format's going to be like, how people can interact with you. Are you going to do copy reviews? Are you going to do subject lines? Tell us, what are you going to do for our members?
All of it. My day's on Thursday, and I'm going to be Thursday at noon Eastern, and we're going to be discussing, just going a lot more. If you liked what you heard today, but you're saying, man, there was a piece of that I really wanted to dig in more and figure out. We're going to go into detail. It's going to be an intimate group of people who want to be there, want to learn. And I can critique copy. We can go into details of, okay, I really want to create a lead magnet based on what I just, based on some of this research I've done. How do I even go about creating a lead magnet? What do I name my lead magnet so that it gets maximum visibility? We're going to do all of that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be very personal, hands-on, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Sorry. Yeah, you're Thursday. Sorry, I got you confused with Fridays. So for those of you that are still thinking about this, now's the time you want to take action. You don't want to have to come back and pay $500 a month. By the way, to work has been featured in NASDAQ, New York Times. He's ghostwritten for Financial Times, Barron's, Forbes magazine. Sky, you're super humble. And that's what I love about you and everybody at Advisorist. We're hungry and humble folks here. But you've got so much experience. To work with somebody like you is a lot of money, but to be able to show up and have you critique other people's copy, that's amazing. That's not $500. That's $5,000. All right. So understand the value you guys are getting here for just today. If you guys want to hop in and join us for Advisors Max, it's just $197 a month. You get access to guys like Sky. We've got Eve Duke on Mondays. We've got Lloyd on Tuesdays with sales scripts. So same thing, right? You got an objection that you got on Monday and it's just stressing you out because you always get the same objection. You always handle it the same way and you always lose the deal. we'll come on Tuesdays and let's give you the recipe and we'll give you the script and you can break through that. And that right there could be worth $5,000 extra a month to you in additional sales. Wednesdays, you got the power hour plus all the recordings that come with it, the transcripts, the cliff notes. So you can go back and listen to all of them. The conversion copywriting with Sky Thursdays and building and scaling virtual practice with Chris and Brianna Fridays. So if you guys are in it, go ahead right now, take action, click on the link that Jasmine is dropping in the chat right now. Join us for Advisors Max. It's going to be one of the most rewarding investments you make into yourself this entire year. Try it for a month. And if you don't feel that we over-delivered on value, hey, no problem. Part ways. Still come back to us on the Power Hour and keep all the great information and knowledge. But I got to tell you guys, when I was coming up, I wish I had a personal coach to help me with my mindset. I wish I had somebody to help me with my sales. I wish I had somebody that showed me how to generate leads. I wish I had mastered copywriting sooner. And I wish that somebody had showed me how I could accelerate my growth and shave years off of it. If your years are worth more than $197, then you can join us. All right, everybody, that's all the time we have today for the Virtual Advisor Power Hour. Thank you so much, Shift Nation, for what you do. Remember that what you do is extremely important. We appreciate you guys. We exist to serve you, and we love you all. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys in the Facebook group with our challenges, our tips, and our guides. And if you guys found something interesting that you want to share, head over to the Facebook group right now and share with the rest of the community so everybody can benefit. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday on the Virtual Advisor Power Hour. Bye for now, everybody.